The film begins with the eerie scene set in a dimly lit forest at dusk. A car winds its way along a narrow road flanked by dense woods, its passengers listening to a radio broadcast discussing the recent discovery of an asteroid threatening Earth. Harry, seated in the passenger seat, expresses his genuine pleasure at having Roy back on their exploration team after a mysterious absence. Roy, curious about the newly introduced member Mike, starts probing with questions to understand him better. After a long drive, they arrive at an open clearing. Roy, with a solemn demeanor, gets out of the car, sets up his chair, and prepares a thermos. Meanwhile, Mike struggles to retrieve bulky equipment from the back of the car. Despite his efforts, he can't manage alone. Sensing his struggle, Harry quickly assists, unloading the heavy equipment. Together, they overcome the challenge and prepare for exploration. Once they set up the telescope and computers, they retreat to the car to monitor. Hours pass until Mike detects a significant signal, prompting her to note it down. Removing his headphones, Mike sees Roy drinking tea and asks for some. However, Roy's expression darkens as he informs Mike that it's his last cup. Without another word, Roy leaves the car, leaving Mike to contemplate his actions. Confused by the hostile vibe from Roy, Mike turns to Harry for clarification, wondering if he's done something wrong. However, Harry reassures him that Roy tends to be that way with everyone and suggests giving it some time for them to warm up to each other. When Roy returns, Mike takes the initiative to formally introduce himself. Eager to establish a connection, he enthusiastically shares details about his remarkable project, which involves recording radio frequencies emitted by celestial objects in outer space. Mike hopes that by conveying his passion and the significance of his work, he can forge a bond with Roy and spark his interest. He elaborates on the concept of capturing and interpreting wave transmissions, explaining how this breakthrough technology enables them to create visual representations of celestial objects, including the vast universe itself. Mike acknowledges the immense potential of his invention for advancing space study, but humbly admits that it still has a long way to go before reaching its full functional capacity. After an exhausting period of work, the group succumbs to fatigue and falls into a deep sleep. However, Mike is suddenly awakened by the familiar sound of a specific frequency that had caught his attention earlier. Determined to share this discovery, he wakes Harry, urging him to listen to the transmission. To their dismay, the signal seems to have disappeared, leaving them puzzled and longing for its return. Harry dismisses it as probably just a pulsar and steps out of the car to recalibrate the telescope. While he's away, Mike records a message to send out to the captured signal. After encoding the message, he transmits it, unaware that Roy is awake and listening to him. After Harry returns, Roy captures an image of a satellite on his computer, feeling nostalgic as he focuses on it. While observing, the satellite disappears for a few seconds before reappearing. Confused, Roy explains the occurrence to Harry, who doesn't believe him, upsetting Roy. In an effort to ease the tension, Mike remarks that it was just a satellite, but Roy reacts angrily to Mike's casual response, accusing him of taking his job. When Roy leaves the car, Mike asks Harry about Roy's remark. Harry reveals that the satellite they saw, named Goodman, was developed by Roy. He explains that he met Roy while they were working on the satellite project and found him to be a remarkable engineer. However, just before their project deadline, Mike's company acquired Roy's workplace, leading to Roy's termination. Reflecting on their shared history, Mike feels sorry for Roy. Upon Roy's return to the car, he apologizes to Mike by offering him a cup of tea. A few hours later, Mike is once again awakened by an audio transmission. Upon listening closely, he realizes that the message he had sent earlier is being returned. Feeling confused, he lets Harry and Roy hear the message, but they dismiss it as a glitch in the equipment or system. However, Roy notes that the loop of the message is longer than what Mike sent, indicating that it cannot be a simple bounce back. Seeking confirmation, Mike contacts his office and requests a colleague to verify the frequency of the mysterious transmission, believed to be a waterhole signal characterized by a distinct and tranquil tumble sound. Despite the clarity of the transmission on their end, the person at the office informs Mike that they are not receiving any signal and abruptly ends the call. Roy and Harry position themselves with their respective antennas and spread out as instructed by Mike. With the go-ahead from Mike, using the car antenna and the two handheld antennas, Harry and Roy established 3 sectors to receive the transmissions, resulting in a stronger signal. As the trio expands the triangle formed by their antennas, the transmission gradually becomes clearer. Mike instructs them to halt and maintain their positions. Suddenly, the frequency's sound becomes remarkably distinct, unlike anything they have ever encountered. With the antenna precisely positioned at the point of strongest signal, Harry and Roy return to the car. However, as the equipment starts experiencing disturbances, Mike's computer behaves erratically, leading to a complete power outage. When Roy and Harry return, Mike tries to reboot his computer, only to discover that the recording he had made is missing, resulting in the loss of all their hard work. Feeling disappointed about losing all the breakthroughs he had made, Mike steps outside the car to get some fresh air. Understanding Mike's frustration, Roy approaches him, offering words of encouragement and empathy, having experienced the pain of having one's work torn away before. Roy tells Mike that if they are the only ones receiving the signal, it's their responsibility to ensure the whole world hears it, as it could signify first contact with an extraterrestrial being. In a heartfelt conversation, Mike reveals that the same company that fired Roy had also terminated Harry due to his unwavering support for Roy's project. Recognizing the depth of their shared experience, Mike advises Roy to approach his friendship with Harry with compassion and understanding. Overwhelmed with remorse for his past actions, Roy acknowledges the strain on their bond caused by months of avoidance. Grateful for Mike's intervention, Roy expresses sincere gratitude for helping him realize the importance of rekindling his friendship with Harry and vows to make amends. Filled with remorse, Roy approaches Harry and learns that Harry chose to quit rather than be fired. Harry explains that he disagreed strongly with the company's mistreatment of Roy and didn't mention it earlier to spare Roy unnecessary guilt. Roy offers a heartfelt apology for inadvertently causing Harry to lose his job, but Harry interrupts, stating he doesn't want to work in an environment that fails to value its employees. To track the signal's origin precisely, they utilize Roy's earlier idea about the disappearing satellite. As it passes by, the three men observe closely, noting how its signal interferes with the transmission they receive, causing it to disappear momentarily before reappearing. Roy suggests to Mike that they run his program again to view the sky map, despite Mike's mention of its improper functioning. Roy insists, and when they run the program, they're surprised to see the map working perfectly. Roy explains that what they're seeing is another object picked up by the antennas. Eager for a more detailed observation, the group turns to Harry's powerful telescope, hoping to unravel the mystery before them. As they adjust the telescope's position, their anticipation grows and they are astonished by what they see. They realize an immense object spanning a vast expanse of space looms before them. Initially puzzled by the absence of visible stars, they shift the telescope's view and are amazed by a breathtaking cluster of twinkling lights adorning the object like celestial jewels. The sight leaves them in awe, their minds racing with questions and wonder at the extraordinary spectacle unfolding before them. Harry takes a picture of the object for evidence. Mike is thrilled to find out that his system works, and what he thought was a glitch turns out to be the object floating in space. Suddenly, they receive a message signal in binary code, unable to believe their eyes. They realize that the earlier message Mike sent wasn't bouncing back. Instead, they are receiving a whole new broadcast. With determination, Mike begins decoding the intricate binary code embedded within the signal. As the lines of cryptic data unravel, he discovers something extraordinary: a visual message. The image contains essential knowledge about humanity and life on Earth, including basic information and intricate details about Earth's biochemical composition and the fundamental blueprint of DNA. As the group meticulously analyzes the decoded message, they make a startling revelation. Comparing the cosmic origin of the DNA formula within the message to the one known by humans, a subtle but significant difference emerges. It becomes evident that this profound discovery challenges the conventional understanding of humanity's origins, hinting at a cosmic connection that transcends the boundaries of our earthly existence. Suddenly, the devices begin to lose power due to excessive usage, causing a wave of panic among the group. Mike, realizing that his hard drive has malfunctioned, is unable to record the crucial information they have just uncovered. In a desperate attempt to salvage their findings, Roy swiftly rushes to unplug all unnecessary devices. The tension in the air is palpable as they cling to the hope that their efforts will not be in vain. With only 18 minutes to successfully retrieve the files before they're lost forever, the group rushes to gather their equipment and head to the station, their only source of power. Roy drives with urgency, aiming to reach the station to salvage their data. Mike contacts his colleague at the station, Dave, asking him to prepare a power unit for immediate charging of the equipment. Upon arrival at the station, they find Dave waiting for them with the batteries, and they manage to save the data just in the nick of time. When they finally descend from their intense exploration, Dave informs them of a groundbreaking discovery. An official statement has been released confirming that tracking stations worldwide have identified a craft in lower Earth orbit. Mike shares all the files they've amassed, including the binary code, with Dave. Filled with curiosity, Dave asks about the precise moment they initially detected the transmission. As the group shares the time, Dave's face lights up with astonishment. With a mixture of awe and excitement, he reveals to them that they've accomplished something monumental. They were the first to establish contact. A sense of wonder envelops the group as they gather around, their eyes fixed on the towering antennas. A binary transmission is sent from Earth for the craft, bearing a message. welcome to Earth. They watch in awe as the spacecraft descends to Earth, surrounded by a glowing blue light. And with that, the movie concludes. If you like this recap, make sure to check out our other videos and subscribe to stay tuned.